What is it? That stench. I've smelled it before.
Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 5, The Oracle. Now I'm doing some iconic and classic weapon trading here. Give one of your elites the energy sword, they'll be a lot more useful. I usually give it to the one who's only single wielding.
What is that? Quiet. It's moved on.
Yeah, I usually give it to the one just single-wielding the plasma rifle, because the dual-wielding one can output quite a lot of damage, actually. And, you know, it doesn't matter, because there's a second energy sword right here. Now, as you can tell, the Flood have returned. Now, what I was doing, I was going around destroying the Flood corpses.
Heretic!
Hold your fire. Hold your fire! I wondered who the prophets would send to silence me. An arbiter. Unflattered. He's using a holodrome. He must be close. Come out so we may kill you. Get in line.
Yeah, so in this game, the Flood have evolved.
Leader, stand firm. The Flood.
So, almost got killed by my ally again, but the infection forms in this game, they can resurrect combat forms if they touch them. So what you want to do is preemptively destroy all the combat form corpses in this room. Makes this shootout a lot easier. Sadly, it's... Jesus, dude, you almost stuck me.
What have they done?
Sadly, there's not much you can do for your grunt allies. They're pretty much always going to die in this room. They just can't deal with the infection
I'll follow
forms.
when our reinforcements arrive.
You do have the Spec Ops commander, the silver elite from the cutscenes, with the half-jaw, call him half-jaw. He joins you for that first room. He is invincible, like all the plot important NPCs, but only for that one room. So, you know, I always make a point about how I always make a point of how the game is easier if you can keep your allies alive. That's especially true in this level. What we're entering now is the elevator. This section is kind of infamous. People hate this section because it goes on forever and it's kind of hard. But I'm here to tell you now, if you have one elite armed with dual-wielding plasma rifles and one elite with an energy sword, this part gets a lot easier. Also, once you're done with the infection forms in that previous room, you're going to want to grab a carbine because you can snipe the Flood before they jump on the elevator. It speeds this part up a lot. Now you might be wondering, like, snipe, and that's right, because like I mentioned in the Halo 1 Let's Play, in this game, the Flood actually have a weak spot. It's not their head, though. It's the little infection form that's in their chest. You snipe that, it's an instant death for the Flood. However, as a trade-off, yeah, so the reason I'm being so hesitant here is because your own allies can kill you with their melee attacks. As you just saw, he almost killed me. But luckily, it was just a glancing blow. What was I saying? Oh yeah, as a trade-off, although the Flood have the weak spots, they've gotten a lot tankier, just in general. It's harder to kill them. There's a lot of new Flood mechanics to go over. Oh yeah, they're corpses. You can actually destroy the Flood corpses with any weapon, but certain weapons are easier than others, like the energy sword. Actually, if you kill a flood combat form while it's up with the energy sword, it will always explode. So you don't have to worry about it getting up. Thank you, buddy. And intermittently, there are some sentinels that come down. But, you know, sentinel's not really anything to worry about in this game. I would say the biggest advantage the elite allies provide in this level is they watch your back. Because, you know, as you can see, it is pretty easy for the flood to sneak up on you. Luckily, outside of team killing, the Spec Ops elites are actually pretty competent. So, let's see anything else. Oh yeah, the canisters, like the one next to that flood that I just killed, those explode when they take enough damage, and that explosion will kill you. Not only that, but on exploding, they release a bunch of infection forms, so watch out for that. But yeah. Sentinel Beam is more useful on this level than the previous one. The Sentinel Beam is considered to be a flood effective weapon. It's very good at mopping up infection forms and cleaning up the corpses, but I would rather just have the energy sword in the carbine for this part, because there's not really a moment's respite, really. But yeah, sadly this part goes on for a while. Probably pretty obvious, but nice throw, buddy. Probably pretty obvious, but there's only elite combat forms in this level. That will change. And they actually, in later missions, they do differentiate the human and elite combat forms somewhat. But for now, it's just elite combat forms. I guess one suggestion, keep your distance if you can, because not only does getting in melee range kind of give your allies a chance to team kill you on accident, but the Flood and melee are a lot more dangerous than they were in Halo 1. They can kill you in about 1 or 2 hits. Probably noticed by now, don't worry about carbine ammo on this elevator ride, you get plenty of it. Yeah, this is where I go a little bit too far, and I get team killed by my allies' grenade. So, yeah, not only can they melee you, they love to spam their grenades. On the original Xbox version, whenever I get to this part, the checkpoint, it felt like the checkpoints would like never proc, so if I died, I'd have to do this whole elevator ride over again, so I got pretty decently good at this part. You know, I say that, but I did just die.
I do not believe.
Yep. And when you see a door come into view at the bottom, that's when you know you're done. Another door is going to open and let out a bunch of combat forms. This is one of those pseudo-infinite spawners, so as soon as you see that door open, you want to rush in.
Weapons to burn these bodies. Every one is a potential vessel for the Flood.
So here, you want to give your energy sword's probably running pretty low, so you want to give it to the elite that doesn't have the energy sword. He'll be a lot more effective with it, even more effective than the dual plasma rifles. Now, you can use whatever weapon you want in this part, but there's going to be some Flood fighting some heretics in this upcoming room. Top priority, there's going to be a heretic grunt on a plasma cannon, so I take him out. And I'm clearing out the room a little bit. There's a third energy sword in the room. I'm trying to make a beeline for it to grab it. I'm not sure what did so much damage to me there, but luckily I didn't die.
I agree with you. Well done.
So when you're ready, jump on down, because it's going to be another holdout section. You got to hold up. This holdout section, it lasts for about 2 minutes, I believe. We just gotta hold out in here against multiple waves of flood. There's actually another energy sword in here, but I grabbed that one. As you can see, carrier forms are also back. Although carrier forms have actually been nerfed. They're tankier, but their explosions are less deadly. Even on legendaries, depending on where you are, they actually won't kill you in one hit. And they drop fewer infection forms. When you get a free moment, you'll want to go over there and destroy those plasma turrets. It'll make an upcoming section easier. A good reason to keep your elite allies alive up till this part is because they'll actually call out when the heretic reinforcements come up, which is helpful. Although, heretic reinforcements, unfortunately for them, they spawn right next to flood reinforcements, so they usually end up getting demolished, but, you know, it's good to keep them in mind. But yeah, you'll want to destroy those plasma turrets because it makes an upcoming shootout easier. Infection forms in this game, there's fewer of them. You won't be fighting like huge clouds of them, but they're a lot more dangerous. They do more damage, and they're better at weaving your shots. But here, the funny thing is, I actually would have survived, but I get backhanded by Halo 2's kind of wonky melee hitboxes. Speaking of wonky, one thing to keep in mind in Halo 2, physics objects are a threat. They are a huge threat to you. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah, Sentinel Beam is actually really good at mopping up infection forms. It's considered an anti-flood weapon, but, you know, even Guilty Spark in Halo 1 said that the weapons aren't that effective. You know, we can use the Sentinels can use their weapons to manage the flood only for a short time. Don't worry. You know, if you're setting a timer and you're getting near the end of 2 minutes, don't worry too much if your elite allies die. This is kind of the end of the part where they're extremely useful. Almost died to the physics object again. And eventually, when the 2 minutes or so is up, the door in the back of the room, near where those two plasma turrets I destroyed earlier are, some heretic reinforcements are going to come out of that door. That's how you'll know you're done when the third wave of heretic reinforcements come, like right now. And that's why you want to destroy the plasma turrets, because the heretic grunts hop on it and they make this part a lot more difficult. Sadly, one of my elites perished right at the end too. Very sad. This is where knowing that the heretics have a bugged melee attack comes in handy, because you can just go in there with a sword and massacre them. And that's the downside of losing one of my allies, nobody to spot me. Now here's kind of a silly thing that happens. You gotta go into the room to progress, but I go out briefly for some more carbine ammo, but that triggers my ally to fight Flood that are still in the room, but you don't need to, you can just go on ahead. So I'm trying to like corral him back into the room. You gotta have the door fully closed to progress, it's a little weird. Yeah, like that. And then when steam comes hissing like that, you'll know that you're done with that part. Yeah, probably needless to say, but with the two holdout sections...
We cannot maintain our position. Bring the Phantoms close to the mine. We are not leaving until the leader of these heretics is dead.
Let's destroy them together, Arbiter.
You got it, buddy. But you could probably guess that two holdout sections in a row with Flood, people aren't the biggest fan. So, yeah, this part's pretty easy. There's like token heretic resistance and some Flood, but you get an invincible phantom helping you, and they're going to drop off some spec ops reinforcements. Although
The flood has spread throughout the city. We don't have enough troops to manage such a large invasion. Find the leader of these heretics. Kill him now.
I say spec ops, but weirdly one of the grunts is an ultra grunt. But you know, whatever. No. You want to be a little careful here, because if you run up too far, you'll run smack dab into the middle of some heretic reinforcements. And it's a little sad, but my surviving spec ops elite, he carves through the heretic elites, but he gets super combined by a heretic grunt. Tragic. Simply tragic. Now coming up here, there's going to be a second wave of heretic reinforcements, and there's also going to be 3 sentinels on the right, kind of in the air, but they kind of act weird. They don't really show up for me. I think they got stuck on something. They show up eventually. It's just the enemies act a little weird in this part. Not that this part's particularly difficult. There's the sentinels. I don't know. I will agree this, well, once you know how to arm your 2 spec ops elites in that first part, it gets a lot easier, but I will concede. Oh, and there's a third wave of heretic reinforcements. Not a huge deal, though. There's the Sentinel. Sentinels were being weird this time around, but, you know, Sentinels aren't really a threat in Halo 2. Now, obviously, Heretic Leader is completely invincible in this part, so not waste time. You do have to kill all the enemies in this room to progress. And I thought I did, but there was one Flood combat form left alive, and yeah, I hear my allies fighting him. So kind of weird. And I managed to save my grunt. Hooray! But yeah, when you kill all the enemies in that room, cutscene starts. There you go.
This will save me from the storm, but you will be consumed.
Arbiter, where is he? Thinking the Floodbait boxed himself in tight. We'll never break through this.
Then we shall force him out.
How?
The cable. I'm going to cut it.
Get everyone back to the ships. Warriors, return to the landing zone. The Arbiter will continue upward, cut this station loose, and scare the heretic from his hole.
May our lords guide your hand.
We shall not forget your sacrifice. Keep your blade handy. I doubt the cable can withstand this bite.
So if you don't have an energy sword in this part, Halfjaw actually will give you his. I think it has 70% battery, but, well, it starts with 70% battery, but it actually has infinite charge. Not that you need it. Now, I was all prepared because I know 4 combat forms come out of the door, but then, you know, sometimes you have your epic gamer knowledge in your head and it makes you forget how to actually play the game. You know, it doesn't matter how many, like, walkthroughs or epic cheats you look up if you forget how to play the game. But this time I remember how to actually play Halo 2, and I dispose of the 4 combat forms. Well, I want to say with no issue, but yeah. Well, I'll meet you back up there after grabbing some carbine, of course. Now, in hindsight, it's lucky because after the 4 combat forms, there's going to be a 5th one with 2 carriers. And then some sentinels, 3 sentinels are going to spawn in. That was an infection form kind of resurrecting a combat form for you over there. You can just run to the elevator if you want. I find it's easier to just fight this bit out. Energy Sword, actually, believe it or not, it is not the worst answer to infection forms because killing an infection form with the energy sword doesn't deplete the sword's battery, and it has longer range than your normal melee attack. So not the worst idea.
phantoms are in the air, Officer. Go ahead, cut the cable.
How embarrassing. Now, believe it or not, somehow I don't die here. But usually, I don't get this much resistance at any of these cables, so I guess I got lucky and unlucky. Now, this part might seem a little familiar. There are infinitely respawning Flood and Sentinels, and they'll be fighting each other mostly, and you need to go around them and destroy parts of a structure. Except, unlike the Pillar of Autumn's engines, there's only 3 cables to cut this time. Little pro tip is, when you cut the cable, any sentinels near the cable will be disabled for a few seconds, so that's the perfect opportunity to cut and run.
That's one. By the prophets, look at the station list.
Now, you actually don't need an energy sword to sever these cables, it's just it takes the least amount of effort. I like to save this cable over here for last because there's a fresh energy sword right next to it for you to grab.
One final cable, Officer.
One final cable is all that remains. By the way, on that last cable, just even if enemies are closing on your position, just destroy it because it makes all the enemies de-aggro after you cut it. The last cable. Also, don't jump. if you jump, you die.
The station is in free fall.
Also, don't get onto the elevator too quickly because you'll also get sucked into the vortex and die. If you do that, you want to wait a little bit. I usually wait until after the dialogue.
The heretic leader is on the move. Do not let him escape. We'll stay with you as long as we can.
Now, this is one of those rooms where you can drop down and skip a bunch of the fighting. The Flood and the Sentinels are really going at it, but you need to get through the door where the heretic leader was camping out. I got an in-real-life interruption here, is what happened. Decided to leave it in just to give myself more room to talk. Anyway, you need to go through this door. The heretic leader is camping at. One thing, if you jump down, it does save time, but keep in mind the Flood and the Sentinels are fighting behind you, and whichever side wins is going to come down behind you, so something to be mindful of. Because you do need to push through these heretics in that door. Helps if you can actually aim. This elevator switch can be a little finicky. Sometimes listen for the click. That's how you know you got it, but it can be a little weird.
Are you still alive, Officer? We're keeping pace as best we can.
But then once you claim this holdout from the heretic elites, it's a pretty good place to hold out against the Sentinels and Flood. This room is cool, but weird. Both paths lead to the same area that you need to go to, so just take whichever path has the least amount of resistance. In this case, I picked the right path because it's just a carrier form that I can stick off the cliff, and then, no infection forms. You'd probably want to save some plasma grenades. Now, I'm being overly cautious here because, yeah, as you can see, 2 heretic elites with energy swords will charge forward, but yeah, not a big deal, really. On lower difficulties, there's only one, but Legendary puts in a second one, but again, not really a big problem.
smell from an abandoned. Wait, the hangar. There was a Sarah fighter inside. Arbiter, you know what to do.
I think this level has the most in-mission cutscenes of any mission in the series. I'm not sure about the feels like there's a lot of them. You might remember this room. This is the room where we first saw the heretic leader back in the previous level. That's filled with a bunch of heretics, Flood, and Sentinels. Just got to fight your way to the door down there. But there's going to be a Flood with an energy sword in here, so make sure he doesn't come in behind you. That's right, Flood can use energy swords. You may have seen that in the elevator cable room, but yeah, something to watch out for. I don't believe they can, they have the tentacle arms, so they can't dual wield. I had another real-life interruption. It was like everybody wanted to interrupt me as I was recording this. Oh, in that cutscene where Arbiter is... I like to clear out some of those explosions before I enter that room. But, and also, in addition to those carriers, there's a Flood combat form that comes in behind you, so something to be wary of. This room is pretty empty. There's a heretic elite in here, but he usually runs away. He usually runs into the next room, where you can get an easy backstab on him. That cutscene where Arbiter is shooting at the heretic leader's Banshee, it actually changes depending on the weapon that you're equipped with, which is pretty cool. Even if you bring in a fuel rod gun from the previous level, he'll use that in the cutscene. It's pretty funny, actually. Now, yeah, I forgot that there's like Flood ambush spawns in this hallway. It's a little lame, but here's how you deal with them. Just, well, first of all, in Halo 2, you actually do want to spend time to clear out the infection forms, because there's fewer of them, but they really do, as you saw, they do a lot of damage. But yeah, whenever you see one of those doors, there's a Flood camping inside it, and if you don't deal with them, they will come up behind you and smack you when you're trying to deal with the heretics. These halls. I don't know why I got so close to that carrier, but it didn't backfire. Almost die again. That scared... When I was playing this live, that scared the hell out of me. But yeah, just keep in mind that there's a Flood in each of the doors that you pass. Take a few seconds to kill them, and then you should get through this part. I love that heretic run right there. Now, I'm not sure if the spawner there is infinite, but Flood come out of that one to the right for a while. And there's a big heretic emplacement over to my left. They're really dug in. There's I think there's 3 elites and then a bunch of grunts. They have a really good position over there, so it can be a little hard to break in. Obviously, the Flood are helping you out, but still. There's a lot of good weapons around the room. If you don't find a gap in the defenses like I managed to do in this recording, genuinely, a good idea would be to grab a dual needlers. It makes really short work of the remaining heretics, but luckily, you know, I see an elite off by himself, vulnerable to being stuck. Even though I missed that first stick, I get the second one. Yeah. And then that creates the gap in their defenses that I need. Especially that I know where the second heretic elite is. Now, I actually fired the gun on purpose to get the grunt to break formation and kind of come over here. Yep, like that. So now I know there's just one more. I could just run past, but I don't want him coming in behind me, so I take a few seconds to get him. Plus, more carbine ammo. Never hurt. But believe it or not, that's actually the end of the level part of the level.
Turn, heretic. Arbiter, I would rather die by your hand than let the prophets lead me to slaughter. Who has taught you these lies? The Oracle.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark. I am the monitor of Installation 04.
Ask the Oracle about Halo. How they would sacrifice us all for nothing.
More questions? Splendid. I would be happy to assist you.
The elites are blind, Arbiter. But I will make them see.
Surprise! Halo 2 adds in boss fights. They aren't very good. So, the way that you're supposed to do this fight, he has two clones and you gotta find the real one, but there's not really an indication.
How did the prophets buy your loyalty, Arbiter? With a new command? A new fleet? Or was it the promise? Their great journey?
Yeah, so I'm trying to do my strategy here. I have a pretty foolproof strategy. Well, I say foolproof, but I do kind of bungle it. Yeah, as you can see there.
Worthless toady!
You really don't want to let him into the room because you don't want three dual-wielding elites all shooting at you. You just die, so here's my foolproof strategy, basically. After I die again. Okay, I promise. Okay, so first things first. Go invisible. For this first little segment, the real one will always be behind the other two. You can sword lunge. Now, one thing to keep in mind, you only end the segment if you do damage to him. Like, you have to hit him once to deplete his shields, and then hit him again to actually do damage.
Your loyalty, Arbiter.
Then,
a new command, a new
him and his clones will actually... The clones will disappear, and then he will stop shooting at you. I bungled the jump there, but luckily the clones weren't really in the room, so I'm able to do damage to them and start the next segment. What you want to do, you want to platform up onto the Seraph fighter.
This facility, and dozens like it devoted to the study of the parasite. But where are the weapons, Arbiter? What was the result? All that time and effort, and the best the Forerunners could do was put these foul creatures on ice.
You want to see which pipe he's talking from, and then jump over, go invisible, and then this is how you're supposed to do it. This is the only cycle where I get it completely right.
Indeed, I designed and oversaw the construction of this facility's various outbreak management systems.
And now where are these gods the prophets would have us worship? Transcended? Hardly.
Hardly.
Come, Arbiter. Let me show you.
Now, I fuck up the jump there, but then in addition I get the worst checkpoint ever. Yeah.
Myopic stew.
On top of that, for this third and final round, you have to actually kill him to get the shooting to stop. It's something the game doesn't really tell you. It's a little cheap. It'll probably get you like that.
Message to the prophets.
But yeah. And obviously because of the... this is me in awe at the terrible checkpoint I just got.
Then we begin again.
But, even screwed up this badly, it's possible to still clutch it out. but not like that. Incidentally, well, I'll talk about that after the scene, because I did just win. But yeah.
This edification was most enjoyable.
I had no choice, Holy Oracle. This heretic imperiled the great journey.
Oracle, great journey. Why do vendors insist on using such inappropriate...
That is the Oracle. So it is. Come, you're leading this system.
I have no idea how Tartarus landed aboard a falling station in free fall, but there you go, I guess. Kind of weird thing, but whatever. But yeah, basically, you want to hop up onto the Seraph, look at the tube that he is talking from, then go onto the platform, go invisible as he comes out, hit him twice or 3 times on the third loop, and then there you go, foolproof strategy. Assuming that you don't bungle an easy jump like me, should be pretty easy, and you can beat this fight first try. I will see you next time for level 6, Delta Halo. There's some bonus footage. First of all, I wanted to kind of show that you can actually see the flood infection forms in kind of a dormant state. Here's kind of what they look like in classic graphics. Pretty cute looking, I think. But yeah. And then they kind of removed the fog effect in the anniversary version, so you can more kind of easily see what's going on there. There you go. And then kind of wanted to show off what the flood looked like in the Halo 2 anniversary graphics. They get much closer to the art direction than they do in Halo 1, that's for sure.
About this, you always have bad feelings. You had bad feeling about morning food nipple.
Close your jaws, or I shall bite.
Now I'm showing this part because I wanted to point out the Halo 2 Spec Ops grunts and also the grunt ultras. They get the Halo Reach elite model or grunt model. Something to point out.
Sent to silence me. An arbiter. Unflattered.
But all right, now for what presumably people are actually here for. Well, this is the room where the terminal is. You probably just saw it right there, but I did want to show off the Sentinel beam real fast because it's not really a weapon I use too much on Legendary. It just doesn't do enough damage. But pretty good at mopping up infection forms, at least.
Wretched arbiter, you're a credit to your race.
Wow, okay. Rude. More importantly, though, it's quite good at tearing apart flood bodies. It's not supposed to disappear them from existence like that, but you know. It's very good at splitting apart the flood corpses on the ground. Now, like you probably saw it earlier, terminal right back here. In the second big holdout room of the mission.
Your actions do not make sense. Proper protocol for a flood outbreak is to establish immediate infection reporting. Communications must be maintained with all local forces in order to track any spread of the parasite.
There are no local forces, Oracle. For now, all you have is me.
But I tracked multiple ships in orbit, including some remaining human presence. In light of the danger posed by the flood, surely you can set aside this disagreement with the humans.
No! Anything still alive in orbit is our enemy. The humans have very good cause to kill us on sight, and the knowledge you've shared with me casts doubt on the entire purpose of our covenant. If any of our ships remain above us, they are not the help you seek.
But why would they not provide assistance? Because of this talk of prophecies and journeys? I learned a small amount about your covenant before that reclaimer blew up my installation, but my understanding is incomplete. The AI I encountered on board one of your ships was less than forthcoming.
What you need to know, Oracle, is that thousands of years ago, at the founding of our Great Covenant, a bargain was struck between the prophets and the elites. A bargain which I fear will be the end of us.
Ooh, how ominous. But, there you go. He's referring to a terminal, one of the Halo CE terminals. I'll link it in the video description. It's not a bad terminal, I just don't like the point that 343 decided to put it. But I will see you next time for Episode 6, Delta Halo. Halo 2, baby.